going on, guys? Lost coming back. We're going to continue on with some of this Forgotten City. Last time we left off, just basically, apparently we found the river, ran into Karen, and now we look for Al. He hung himself because apparently he couldn't solve this great mystery that we've been endowed with the magistrate of figuring out who's going to sin. So it's up to us. We're going to figure it out. Let's see what we can do. So we'll see what happens. It looks like people have sinned before, obviously. Kind of interesting. It's like, so some people sinned and then they send more people. Kind of interesting. Alright, let's figure out what happened.
What are you doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She's been poisoned. She needs the resin of a plant called Silphium, but that Culus cumulatus decius won't give it to me. It's too late. She just slipped away. She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally, I'd treat her with resin of Silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall. But there's no way I can do that down here with the golden rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath.
That snake's cruel black eyes with.
Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do. Get me that Silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, not even the golden rule will stop me from marching up to that Genetricum Fututo and scratching his eyes out.
Okay.
I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in ever since she disappeared. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable all the time. But I'd rather take this on myself than let one of you lot mess it up.
All right.
My husband and I moved to Rome from Caesarea. He embraced the Roman way more than I would have liked and turned into an awful philanderer. I would have divorced him and demanded the return of my dowry, but I knew he would sooner have me killed than give me my right. So I waited for the right time to take what was mine and disappear. And then the fires came. As he prepared to evacuate our villa, I gathered our most precious belongings, coins and gemstones, and the moment his back was turned, I ran. I could barely see for the smoke, and the streets were full of people trampling each other. I ran for the river, like everyone else, and leapt in. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a riverbank, not far from here. It's all right. Say what you will about this place. At least my fornicating husband will never find me. And while there's no shortage of snakes here, at least with the golden rule, they have to try to be discreet about it. Oh, this shrine was in use as a clinic long before any of us arrived here. Kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple of the god of disease. But the god who inflicts a curse is also the only god who can undo it. So I suppose praying to Apollo for healing kind of makes sense.
Alright then.
Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good too. Until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. This changes everything, she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed and he's in constant pain. I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. And he's a little bit scary. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off. And I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out. And you know what that means. I just know Nevia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace.
Well,
Thanks, I suppose.
alrighty then.
Oh no. Sorry, I don't mean to worry you, but no, that is definitely not normal. There was one other person who claimed she could hear the statues talking to her. But that was Nevia, and she went a little mad. Anything about what? Sure. What do you want to know? Do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have broken the golden rule, and so maybe it's best we don't discuss it. Hemlock, I believe. I haven't seen her in months. She's not allowed to leave Malleolus' villa, and they are quite secretive.
Alright.
Gladly.
Well,
A city without sin might sound good on paper, but whoever dreamt it up didn't think it through. Maybe it was an attempt to create some kind of utopia. But snakes like Decius will always find loopholes to exploit. And what can we do about it? Absolutely nothing. In some ways, we are worse off because we can't take the law into our own hands.
See, yeah, that would suck.
Well, come back if you get sick or injured. Day or night, I'll do what I can.
A lot of questions, just not very many good answers though either. What we got? Wait. Dried ground herbs, okay.
May Apollo keep you safe.
Collection
May
of
Apollo
barbaric
keep you
looking medical implements, including forceps and shears. Yeah, that would suck. Alright. All from here, it looks like. So it's like, go that way? Or what do I do?
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step. Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but... family's from Seleucia on Tigris. Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads. Same way as everyone else.
Okay.
Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious? Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Stupid. Going to have to improvise now.
Alrighty then.
If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either. Nobody is supposed to know about that. Did Lucretia tell you? Gah. Look, I haven't been at my best lately. All my joints ache constantly, and
Okay, so Rufus has got that.
it has a way of messing with your head. I get stirred up by things that shouldn't bother me, and then there's the statues, and my doubts about my faith. And I just want to scream. You
Interesting.
want to help me? Do what Lucretia hasn't been able to do. And find me something to make the pain go away. Until then, get out of my face.
It looks like I'm going to be helping a lot of people. Because they don't want to help themselves, apparently. Oh, man. It's like, what do you do? Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Alright. This is the guy that looks busy. Why?
Hey, Virgil, how much would you want to make me a bow?
For the last time, Decius, I'm not making you a bow.
But why?
You know why.
But how am I going to defend myself against someone else with a weapon?
There are no other weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban.
Sculpture of Ares, the Greek god
That's why I've
of
gotta get in
war.
first before someone else beats me to it.
Hmm. Interesting. Obtain a bow. Okay. Ravania, I guess, or Urba, a goddess of strategy, huh? Alright, now we can talk to this guy.
Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Dacius. Terrible shame what happened to Yulia, but we just have to carry on, don't we? Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii. That's hardly my concern. But if you get a job, work hard and save your coins, you should be able to afford it within, say, 5 years? Oh, it's perfectly legal. Simply a question of supply and demand, I'm afraid. Take it or leave it.
Take it.
Hear what? You sure you're feeling all right? If you're hearing things, perhaps you should pay a visit to Lucretia's clinic. We don't want another Navia on our hands. She claimed the statue was a whispering to her. Nobody else could hear it. Then she shut herself in the palace and we never heard from her again. But I digress. Do you want this Silphium or not? Well, if you did that, you'd break the golden rule, and we'd share the same fate as the last lot who lived here. Is that what you want?
Take it and run.
Do you think I don't know a bluff when I see one? Nice try. Very well. Perhaps I can interest you in something within your budget?
Still.
You mean, how did I end up here? That is a lengthy tale. All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects.
So I gotta steal it, which is weird because I stole.
Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave, fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome, just off the Forum. Lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, open to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing for a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done. Of course I chose the cart. I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand in the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber. No, I dived in after it, of course. Aren't you paying attention? That was a bloody fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something because everything went black. When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank not far from here with nothing in the world but a single silver coin. Thank you, friend. But it turns out it might have been a stroke of good fortune because this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you. There must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just figure out how to get it out of here. Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us?
Huh.
Not going to happen.
Interesting. So wait.
Malleolus. I mean, Sentius
What was the
couldn't keep
other
his daughter
answer?
safe. What hope does he have of protecting us?
So Cynthius couldn't keep his.
Certainly. It's terrible for inflation is what it is. There's so much gold just lying around, it's practically worthless. At least down here. Of course, I have an idea for generating real wealth, but what I need is a bow. Just a simple composite bow. I've scoured this city from top to bottom with no luck. But if you happen to find one, bring it to me and we'll talk. Oh, well, technically yes, but that just means you'll need to be a little discreet. Thank you, friend.
Alrighty then.
I'm afraid not. If you're desperate, I did hear that Aurelia down at the tavern claims to know of a way out, but I'm not sure I trust her. Some people here are a little shady for my liking. Very well. Another time.
So I gotta. I have this other thing that says to take that. Confused.
Wonder how much one of these statues is worth on the outside.
They're like, I'll try to help you, but yet stealing it. Like, do I get to keep it or something? After this? Like, what do you do? What do you do? Because, I mean, stealing it. They're like, I'll try to help you, but what do you mean? I know he's the bow guy, so we'll keep an eye on the one deal. We gotta get the one guy distracted so he doesn't know I stole it.
Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. You arrived on a sad day, friend. What with Julia's death? I wish we could have met under better circumstances. Well,
Might
I'm
as
an
well.
architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people, that kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Yeah, let's
I'm
figure it
glad
out.
you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek. I'm not sure. It could mean that the Romans, who first started building here, were just copying Greek architecture, which they do all the time. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell.
Let's figure some things out.
Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the Great Temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake and allows us to fish and farm. Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
Figure out how to get to the upper. Oh, okay.
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city. Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody figures out a way inside, I suppose we'll never know.
Interesting.
Of course. Some people say it's divine, the work of a god, but I'm not so sure. It just seems so flawed to me. Like it's distinctly human. I mean, once you've been here long enough, you'll notice people doing things that just seem so wrong to you. But this so-called god doesn't seem to care. Which means one of two things. Either you don't know the difference between right and wrong, or this unknown god doesn't. And I'm pretty sure I know the difference. Do you? Good. Then I hope you'll agree that there are only two ways of dealing with unfair rulers. The first is to leave. The second is to remove the ruler from power. And it seems leaving may not be an option. Good question. It's best if I say no more, but I hope you'll give it some thought.
Yeah. More interesting.
Oh, it means someone thinks I'm a sinner, and that I'm going to break the Golden Rule. Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference
I gotta
for
tell
male company.
Cynthius about him.
Hey, nothing gets by you, huh? Sorry, that was mean. Yes, I like men. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagus, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi.
Huh.
In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong. It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists. Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule. What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused. Come back and let me know what you find.
Interesting.
Sometimes I stare at the great temple on the bluff, and I think, whatever is in there, it has to be important.
Interesting. Well, I don't want to steal, I don't guess. See, I don't know. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna figure out what do I have. Complete. I guess that's all the completed stuff. Inventory. Oh, so whatever you grab, you keep though.
Make sure you stay away from that empty shrine. It's going to collapse at any moment.
Bunch of strangers.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land. This part of my shop is off limits, even for you, my sartorial friend.
Making clothes, okay.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land.
Well, alright, let's figure out who this guy is.
I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
I'm from beyond the edge of the world. No world.
Then you are an explorer, like me. Wonderful. You must have many stories to share. I cannot wait to hear them. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps? My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the fort. You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all? I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree? A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself. I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and drowning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa. Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am. Anything you like. Ah, yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate. Have you not heard the tale of the god Hades? He was the first to learn this dreadful lesson when he abducted Persephone and imprisoned her in the underworld. When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Instead, she changed the climate of Earth so that it became hot and dry. Nothing grew. The grain turned to empty husks and the rivers dried up. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands until at last the other gods were forced to act lest they have no worshippers left. So yes, we know this rule. This has always been the case. The Golden Rule has merely brought it into focus.
Interesting.
If we are to survive, I say we must each heed the simple wisdom of Thales of Miletus, first of the 7 sages of Greece, who said, "Avoid doing what you would blame others for doing." It does, doesn't it? But it is not enough for us to do this alone. For even if 99% of us adopt this principle, that will never be enough. Sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life's work of many good people can be undone in the blink of an eye by a single selfish act.
Yeah.
The voice of experience. I am sorry for your loss, my friend. But on a lighter note, I will say one thing for the Golden Rule. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden statues do make magnificent models for my clothing, do they not?
Okay. See who he's gonna vote
That, my
for.
friend, is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection, I'm leaning toward voting for Malleolus. I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way.
So, I got 2 people that I gotta tell them I suspect.
Nothing comes to my mind, my friend. This is troubling, is it not? I'm afraid I have no idea. It is ridiculous though. Virgil is a fine man. But my young friend Fabia confided in me that she saw someone leaving graffiti on his shop front last night. Perhaps you should ask her about it.
Gotta ask.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
So I don't think that matters there, though. Alright. Interesting.
Wonder how much one of these statues is worth. Ah, back again, I see.
Okay.
I don't, I'm afraid. But I did overhear Fabia telling Georgius she saw something. She was headed to the baths not long ago.
Alright. So the Babs.
Very well. Another time.
Okay. So. We have this steal and run. Wait. Gotta somehow obtain a bow. Figure out how to... Oh, God. Alright, let's do this. I'm gonna have to run salmon.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
I gotta get out of here. No. No. No.
To the shrine.
I'm following you. I'm right behind you. Ooh. Come on now. Interesting. So he does that. I get back, and now I'll have this. So pretty much, like, you're gonna have to send a couple times, it looks like, to probably get to where you need to get. Ugh. The only thing that sucks is it's like, are you gonna have to go through all this same stuff the whole time, though? Oh. No, come on.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina? No idea what you're talking about. Oh, wait. Are you a bit, you know, not right in the head?
I ain't got time for this,
That's
dude.
all right, friend.
I gotta get out of here.
Everyone's welcome here. But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine. All right, friend, suit yourself. Just don't do anything too reckless till you've spoken with Magistrate Sentius in his villa down there. See you around.
Yep, gotta go. Okay, so Maverick, let's give to Galerius a
The
tour.
49 melodies fetch again with incessant labor.
I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go save. What's your face? Let's see. Right in here.
What are you doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She's been poisoned.
I
She
got the
needs medicine of a
poison.
plant
Cure.
called
I got the
Silphium,
cure. I got the
but
cure.
that Culus
Oh my God.
Cumulatus Decius won't give it to me. What? Quick, give it here. Yulia, you need to swallow this. Here, let me help you. Hopefully, in a moment, she should be able to breathe normally. That was extraordinary. How did you know she needed this exact thing and at this exact moment? Are you some kind of oracle? But how could you know she needed this exact medicine? And how did you even get it? I guess it doesn't matter. You just saved a person's life, and you
Okay.
should be proud of yourself.
Bam.
She
There's a
might
lot of
even
things
be able
happening.
to thank you herself in a few moments. And maybe she can tell us who poisoned her and who she meant when she was muttering about that snake's cruel black eyes. In the meantime, I'm happy to help you with whatever it is you need.
All right.
That's a shame. Thanks again for saving Yulia's life. Apollo smiles upon you.
So. Obtain a bow. How do I obtain a bow? Can I ask her about this stuff?
Feeling all right?
Alright, never mind.
That's a shame. Thanks again for saving Yulia.
Yeah. I saved your life. Okay.
Help! You have to do something! A man arrived in the baths. Real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon.
A weapon?
To do something, or he's gonna break the golden rule. Are you serious? This is an emergency. Are you going to help or not? None of us do. The magistrate made us throw them all into the chasm. So now this man's bow is the only one in the city. You'll just have to improvise. thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over.
Oh, God.
What? Why? All right, fine. Come and find me in my bakery instead. Please be careful.
Okay. Huh? So I saved her life by telling her that. Because the thing said no. Beware, shrine may collapse at any moment. And it collapsed. And I died. That's the reason why you say don't go in there. Interesting. So... Interesting. Okay. Well, at least it's got me right here where I left off at. So she went there. Obviously, we don't go in here at all. Because it collapsed at any time. He watches through their eyes. What the world? Oh gosh, man. I get the goosebumps with those whispers. You know what I mean? Okay. So, we came through here earlier and there was a soldier scared, obviously. Who do we got? Oh, what do we got going on here?
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
Figure out how to neutralize, yes. I saw him worshiping in a small round shrine just inside the city. Second building on your left. Yeah.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now, but you'd best make sure our paths don't cross again.
So that's what you do. You let him go. Wait. Oh god, what did I do? So much loading for here, though. Actually, that takes care of the building, doesn't it? Because I said the second one on the right.
Curse you, cultist!
And take that. Bounty notice. Oh, Emperor Nero. All loyal sons of Rome were ordered to hunt and execute the arsonist and murderer Tiberius Quintus Severus, a citizen of Aventine district of Rome. He is about 40 to 50 years old and is average height, average build, has dark hair, and has green eyes. Green eye and one blue eye. He is typically clean shaven and is known associate of cultist and suffers from delusions of grandeur. Interesting. Wait a minute. We'll take it. I guess. Find Quintus, the man with one green eye and one blue eye. Okay. Got it. So, actually, there's so many questions now. Oh god. I gotta get back again. I don't understand why it matters to have all this, though. You know what I mean? Like, who would want to play like this the whole time? Makes no sense to me. But, okay. He listens with their ears. So he sees with their eyes and listens with their ears. Oh my god. That's so weird. It's like, oh, quit. Okay, so we come through here earlier before we made it to the shrine stuff. And obviously this is probably like the first people here and they broke the rule or something. What the world is going on here? Seeing all this is built up now. Clearly, there's some weird stuff there. She's doing something like diving in here. What is this? Obviously, I can't do. Can I help? I don't get it. I don't think a flashlight's gonna help me out as much. There is a statue down here. Unless I knocked that statue down. I possibly did. I don't see anything special to click on. Nope. Alright. Nothing too crazy. I can pull this out, obviously. I don't know what else to do outside of that. It's weird. Alright, so. I always remember they're watching. Okay. I speak with their tongues. See? Oh gosh, man. They're whispers, man. That whisper, and I don't like it. This is weird. This is not normal. This is not. Alright. So. Kind of weird. Okay. So you had the one soldier that was like right here. Which is obviously somebody in here. You had one soldier that was scared. Right over here. Which might have been Interesting. Interesting stuff. What we got back here? What was this? Unhygienic? Pick up a sponge stick. Okay, cool. In case you were wondering. Small stick with a sponge attached. Must be what Romans used instead of toilet paper. It appears to be a communal use. Best to put it back immediately. Cool. Cool. That would suck. Okay. Communal public toilets, which, I mean, if you ever did any, like, Roman stuff, you would have known that. An orgy with 4 girls here, and disappointed all of them equally. Alrighty then, well, at least he was good for something. Well, what do I go? The priestess. Interesting. Okay. That's obviously that's the bathhouse. I don't know. It's really probably not worth going that way. Interesting. Okay, so this takes you back to the forum area. Archaeologists insight. The many shall suffer for the sins of one. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, you're still angry about that stuff. Alrighty then. A fountain producing fresh water, which is coming from the aqueducts behind the city, or behind it. If the water can enter the city via aqueducts, perhaps there's a way to escape through them. Interesting. She was trying to get a drink of water. Ah, well. Let's see what we got up here. Obviously, we're talking about, okay, we got a zip line going straight up to there. Zip line out of. Obviously, got like a lot of zip lines to different places. Interesting. Interesting. What is going on here? What the world is this? She will guide you. I'm locking myself in. Don't try to follow me. Nothing good will come of it. Okay. Clearly not stealing. Granted, I do have a weapon. I have to be careful with what I do with this weapon, though. Ooh. clearly running around all that too. So. And that's not stealing. So that's good. What are we pointing at here? Something that way? Interesting. You're looking that way. Obviously, we kind of seen what happened. Whoa! Don't get on the fire. That's not good. I did not know that was going to happen. Alright, well. So we got ourselves a bow by sending an assassin to the place that collapsed. Basically, we got to go and tell Cynthius that, I reckon since these people don't like you, too bad. You know? Okay, so I need to go back, actually. Let's go back to her real quick. Interesting. Okay. Look at, oh, wait. Wooden bucket. Looks like the owner dropped it while fetching water and tragically never picked it back up again. Okay, well. So I'm finding coins, which, see, interesting. That guy's still being grumpy. I need to figure out what to do for him. Which they say there's that farm. Okay. So, wait a minute. The bread shop. Where have I not been? Under here. Got it. Found her.
You took care of him?
Yep.
An accident? So,
Whatever's
it's
in
over?
that great temple up there on the bluff.
Oh, God.
I bet
It's such a
worth
relief.
fortune.
I really thought we were all going to die. I do have a question, though. That shrine, the one I was going to hide in, did you know it was going to collapse? Really? Then how? Oh, I see. I should probably keep my big mouth shut then. Sorry. I promise, nobody else will ever know what you did. But I know. That was really clever. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Oh, speaking of which, welcome. I'm Fabia. Sorry I was a bit frantic before. Need anything? Oh, there's not much to tell. I mostly just bake bread and try to help out where I can.
Well, might as well hear her story
About
too.
8 months ago, I was living in Rome with my family when I got sick. Terrible timing. My pa had just arranged a husband for me, a fisherman's son. I was about to meet him for the first time when I came down with an awful fever. I spent the next week in bed. Pa paid priests to make offerings to Asclepius, a white rooster, then a goat. But nothing worked. In the end, they decided I'd do better outside the city. Clean air in the countryside would do me good, they said. But after about a day in a carriage on the Appian Way, I was getting worse, not better. I remember closing my eyes for a bit, and I guess I must have fell asleep, because when I opened them again, I was in a forest by a river. I suppose the driver took off with his fee and left me for dead. Can't say I blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to catch what I had either. Anyway, I went searching for help, stumbled across the trapdoor temple, and here I am.
Interesting.
It's nice of you to say, but you should save your sympathy. Lots of people here need it more than I do.
Let's see what she thinks.
I try not to worry about it. I mean, if people are nice to each other, we won't have anything to worry about, will we? Thanks. And I like your teeth. They're so white. And your clothes. Oh, I bet my friend Georgius would like to get a look at you. And I'm sure he'd love to chatter about the Golden Rule with you too. He'll be just across the forum in his shop. Terrible shame, that is. Maybe this'll help. Late last night, I was cleaning my oven when I heard some noises outside. The forum's usually dead quiet at that hour, so I came out to see what was going on. To be honest, I thought maybe poor old Dooley had got out of his cell and was snooping around again. So I put my head out and saw someone in front of Virgil's shop. I couldn't tell who. It was too dark. I called out to them, but they just turned and ran off without a word. All I remember is they ran past a lit torch and the light glinted off something metallic. Armour, I think. So I suppose it could only be one of three people. Horatius, Domitius or Rufius. I hope that helps.
Interesting. So one of the soldiers.
What? You've been here a few moments and you're desperate to get out already? Why not give the place a chance before you try to leave? Good people here. Galerius works hard on the farm so I can put food on our tables, and Lucretia tries to keep us healthy. My friend Georgius is always mending our clothes, and Virgil makes sure these old walls don't fall down around us. Well, he does his best. I'm just saying, there are worse places you could live out your days. All right. Thanks again.
So I got a question to the soldiers. One of them I hadn't met yet, Domitius.
I won't forget it.
You there! I'm sorry to trouble you, but I couldn't help but notice that fine bow you're carrying. No idea how you managed to get your hands on it, especially in the light of our dear old magistrate's ban, but I'm impressed. And before you ask, no, I wouldn't dream of trying to buy it from you. I have no use for a wooden bow myself. But I would like to propose a joint business venture of sorts.
Okay.
Tell me, do you have any idea how people here end up as golden statues? And here I was thinking I was the only one to figure it out. In any case, supposedly one or two of those arrows is enough to turn a full-grown man into gold. Now, of course, that is a travesty, a terrible, horrible waste of human life which has to be stopped. And yet, on the other hand, I can't help but think of a tale told by that Greek fella Aesop, the goose that laid the golden egg. With the ability to transmute organic matter into gold, one could create infinite wealth. Use your imagination. Golden animals, insects, trees and plants. The Midas touch without the drawbacks. We are talking riches beyond imagining. And even if we were to split all those riches between the two of us, half of infinite wealth is still infinite. Interested?
Huh.
Look, I might have skimmed over that one, but don't be so pedantic. Are you interested or not?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Why not?
So the first question is, how do we get our hands on one of those golden bows? Now, I have a plan, but first, tell me, are you familiar with the story of the goddess Diana?
Yeah.
No problem. Allow me to explain. Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld, depending on who you ask. The one thing priests and poets agree on is that she carried with her a golden bow and a quiver of golden arrows. And it just so happens that there is a shrine of Diana in this very forum, with a prominent statue of the goddess herself. And would you like to guess what she's holding in her hand? Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple staring at it, trying to figure out how to retrieve it without breaking you-know-what. Oh, gods, no! If you tried that, we'd all be dead within moments, I'm sure. No, here's what I propose. You give your bow to me, I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf, and we create a replica of a golden bow. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out the fake for the original. It's not theft exactly, it's more of a trade. But make no mistake, this is a dangerous path, and there's no way of knowing where it will lead. But in my experience, all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. Now, you must have questions. Ask away.
Well,
because the gods would see you, of course. Hence my proposal. I'm more of an ideas man, whereas you're obviously the more resourceful and heroic type. I have complete confidence in you. When Prometheus stole fire from the gods and became a hero to all mankind, do you think he was worried about the danger? Only because he was silly enough to get caught. So, are you in, partner? Wonderful. Now, if you'll hand over your bow, I can get started applying a layer of gold leaf. This is a quality weapon. Now, bear with me for a moment. And here we are, a gold leaf bow. Now I've gone and unlocked the Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
alrighty then. I think we'll save the rest of the adventure for later. So, that is interesting. So, yeah. A lot of questions, though. A lot of questions, a lot of asking, lots of reading and listening. You gotta pay attention. So we're gonna have to ask these soldiers on what they think of Virgil to figure out where it goes. We still gotta go to Cynthius and tell him what we think about a couple of guys that aren't gonna vote for him, to see what he says. So, interesting stuff. So, well, we'll check that out later. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on some more coming soon. So, peace out.